What's up, BoobTube? So today I'm going to work on actual race car stuff, not Miata race car, but our actual team race car, Wasting Money Racing, our Miata. Ended up in an incident at the beginning of this year, and we've been rebuilding, waiting on parts pretty much all year to fix it. And we're now to the point to where we're actually putting the car back together. And since the incident caused some body damage, we decided to replace most of the crash bar stuff with actual bash bars. Save some weight, and the series allows us to run a one horizontal bar for front and rear bumper and not get penalized for it. So today we're going to build the ducting for the new front end for the radiator. You've probably noticed in a couple of the backgrounds in some of my videos that there's been this sitting on top of some tires. Well, that is 3/4, obviously, 3 pieces, 3/4 of the radiator ducting catted out. I've still got the bottom piece to make, and then I get to cut it out of this 32 thou aluminum. So if you don't know, if you have a local circle track or really any sort of race shop, they sell aluminum sheets, which is mainly for body panels on race cars, by 4-foot by 10-foot sections. So and you can get them in all sorts of different styles. You can get them the inside and the outside painted 2 different colors. You can get them matte, you can get them gloss, you can get them metallic, or you can get them mill scale like this. Since this is not something that's going to be on the outside, it's cheaper to buy at mill scale like this. Obviously, this is the cheapest option since it's mill scale, and it goes up from there. Just same thing with anything that's painted. So if you got metallic on both sides, then it's going to be more expensive than gloss on both sides or gloss only on one side. So anyways, oh, by the way, this was like 70 or 80 bucks for this sheet. So let me cut that section out, and then we will trace it out on this big old sheet. I've got to figure out somewhere in my basement that I can unroll all of this so that I can trace on it, and then cut it out and rivet it together. Since this is so thin, after trying to weld on the hood the other day, I don't think I'd be able to weld this together. So I will probably just pop rivet it together, and what I will do is I'll take those and trace them out and add an extra inch on the side portions so that I can fold it over and pop rivet all the way down. Anyways, guys, let's get started making this last cutout section, and then trace it on to this, and I'll show you the final product and how I plan to mount it to the radiator. Alright. Alright, so as you saw, that's pretty much the process. It's pretty easy to CAD something out, so let's set this somewhere where we can see it a little bit better. So, clearly you want a small intake that leads up and covers the whole radiator ducting. This is only folded in because cardboard can't support it, but once it's made out of sheet metal, aluminum sheet metal, it'll be fine. So, real small intake causes a high pressure zone with a low pressure zone, blah blah blah, and forces air all through the radiator, blah blah blah. Bunch of aerodynamic stuff. It really helps if you have a low pressure zone behind the radiator, so that it has a reason to pull through the radiator, like a hood scoop or something with a turn up on the front of it that causes a low pressure zone. But anyways, that's the easy part. Now I get my hand workout for the day cutting all this out. So I'm gonna crank some music, trace this out, and then when we come back, I'll be getting ready to drill holes to pop rivet it together. Alright, so I think the radio's still a little too loud. Saw me cut all those out. I got a nice blister from it. I'm not sure if you can see it. But anyways, so the next step is to just assemble all of it. I'm going to drill holes in the bottom and the top before I fold the things over. That way I can mark on the sides where to drill holes. And then once I've done that, I will pop rivet it all together and we'll see the final product. So let me go ahead and roll this back up. Well, roll it up as best as I can without cutting myself. And yeah. Alright, boob tube. I got tired of continually starting and stopping the time lapse. So I went ahead and finished it, and I'm doing my checking to see if it's square right now. See if there's many gaps in there, and if you check, it sits flush on the floor, which is good. So, you know, pretty easy to make, and it's going to drastically change the amount of air the radiator sees. So this should help a ton. But yeah, so got that finished. I still have to put I've got some silicone hose that I'm going to cut in half and use it as a boundary so it doesn't rub up against the radiator. I've also got all of my parts cleaned for the rotary to go back together. They're really clean, and then I went through and hosed them down with some WD-40 to make sure that all the steel parts don't really rust, except for that's still gonna rust, whatever. But so yeah, so that's that. I'm gonna cut some strips that are straps. That way, some like 6 or 8 inch long straps that I will, once I get back to the race car, I will drill some holes in the duct and fold and wrap them around the radiator. That way we can easily unbend them and remove the ducting without having to, drill stuff out and so on and so forth. So, because the way it's going to be mounted in there, the bumper is pretty much going to help make sure that it stays there and it doesn't move anywhere, and then these straps should help it as well. And since this is pretty thick, it'll take quite a bit of some movement for it to shift. If we do end up having issues with it move, then I might drill a hole through the strap and run like a zip tie through it or something to keep it from moving too much. But anyways, guys, that's making an intake duct for an NB Miata, I should say. So, but this won't work on something that's got anything factory in it, because we have everything removed off of ours. It's so. All right. Until next time, guys. Deuces.